afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm your REO listing agent, Comfort Oludipe, and I'm here to promote Hod Homes. And I also have a very renowned loan officer, Mr. Brett Carter. He's been doing this since he was 7 years old. He's very knowledgeable about his product. And also to my far left is Mr. Leon Copeland. And for those of us that have less than perfect credit, who doesn't nowadays? So he's here to introduce a new product that I really am so excited about, that will help those of us with challenge credit. And we're all here to talk about how you can buy your own home, and it's less expensive than renting. So first of all, to go back on the line, welcome to Department of Housing and Urban Development. And introduction, what are HUD homes? And who can buy HUD homes? And you have to create an account and register online, to bid, guiding you to your dream homes. And I'm here with, like I said earlier, with Mr. Leon Copeland, that they are credit restoration company, and also with Fidelity Direct Mortgage and FHA approved lender. And then you choose a closing agent. Sage Acquisition is the primary contractor to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. They provide marketing and management service to HUD-owned residential real estate properties in 18 states, of which Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, DC fall under Philadelphia 5P HOC Asset Management. And I'm Comfort Oludipe. I'm the point of contact listing agent for Fairfax Realty Inc. Today we are here to talk about HUD homes. And HUD homes are property that are acquired by HUD when client defaults on their mortgage. Then this FHA sell it to, they sell it to FHA. Sorry, I'm having a technical issue here. So who can buy HUD homes? HUD home is an equal opportunity housing. HUD's goal is to promote owner occupancy. After this presentation, I'm going to show you how easy it is to go on HUDhomestore.com and you browse and see the properties that meets your criteria. Then you contact Mr. Brett Carter. Once you have your approval letter on one hand and your NS money deposit on the other hand, then you come and talk to me, because HUD does not allow you to submit your bid directly to them. You have to go through a licensed realtor, so which is me, and I'm here to help you. And if you need any assistance, my number is right there on the screen, which is 202-251-0605. Once you find your property, like I said, all homes are below market value because they are mostly foreclosure. The NS money deposit is usually $1,000 certified fund, and for houses that are 50,000 and 50,000 and above, 50,000 and below is 500,000.
$500.
Five.
500,000 would be a pretty big deposit, Comfort.
No,
Most people can do that.
Yeah, I
So
misspoke.
that's okay.
Sorry. So the general sales condition, most of the HUD homes are sold as is. That is, you have to get a licensed realtor like myself. All does, guarantee. You have to make sure what you see is what you get. Go there and inspect before, because all does not allow any repairs before closing. And if they accept your offer and you do not close, you forfeit your earnest money deposit. That's why I always recommend to all my clients, make sure you know, if you have less than challenge credit,
Challenge credit.
challenge credit.
Nobody has bad credit. It's just
Nobody.
challenge credit. Absolutely.
We don't use that terminology anymore in this in this business. So if you have less than perfect credit, so talk to Mr. Carter. He will guide you through and tell you what needs to be done, and partner with a credit restoration company here that they will guide you through on what to do and what not to do, so that you can be qualified to purchase your home, or does not allow any repair prior to closing. Okay. FHA approved lender, like I said, just like you cannot purchase a HUD home directly, you have to go through a licensed agent like myself. Also, Fidelity Direct, FHA approved lender, they know they're going to be talking about their products, and if you have any question, you select your own closing agent, and if you have any concern or whatever, you know, I'm just a phone call away. You can visit my website, comfortrealtor.com, and Comfort HUD Homes or HUD Homes at Gmail. My cell phone is right here. So to show you how easy it is to browse and go on hudhomestore.com. So I'm going to exit now, and we're going to go on hudhomestore.com. Okay, which is up there.
Let's see if that works.
Yeah, I hope so. I have it set up. That's why I don't want to use it. Okay. You're going to go on hudhomestore.com and register as a public. Once you register as a public, they will ask for all your...
Exit out that you don't have. You don't have
Yeah,
internet,
we don't
so-
have internet connection. That's what I thought. Okay. So I will let Mr. Carter take over from here, and since we are just getting started, so that he will tell you what needs to be...
Sure, and we can visit the HUD Home site after our presentation
Okay.
as well. The only thing we need, because I'm very technically challenged, I live on the information super cul-de-sac, and I really like it there. I avoid the superhighway because it's dangerous when you don't know what you're doing, right, Liam? So Mr. Green, if you could help me switch over to HDMI 2, whatever it is, it says it would work, that would be helpful.
Okay.
And you probably need to exit out yours there, Comfort,
Okay.
so.
Get mine out.
Yep, and we just need to switch to HDMI too. But as we're talking about in Comfort and Said, and Liam, one of the things that we talk about is, you know, why do people look at HUD homes, right? We hear in the paper and everybody's excited, they want to be a real estate investor, and they like to buy foreclosures. Well, that's what HUD homes are, right? HUD homes are houses that were foreclosed on that HUD owns, and HUD wants to sell them.
Yes.
And since they are foreclosed properties, HUD wants to sell them at a discount because they want to move them quickly. So what we need to do is you need to exit out, Comfort, and
Okay.
Mr. Green, if we can switch over to HDMI 2 here, so I know what we're doing.
We can get...
Just exit out of
Okay.
there, so we can.
let me just take this one out.
There we go. Take that one out, and we'll start. But anyway, the first thing is, you know, HUD homes are all foreclosures, right? What you want to do is you want to focus on buying foreclosures. And we're going to be here to HDMI 2, and hopefully that'll work for us real quick.
I don't have...
That's all right. We got it. By the way, I just listened to those young ladies when I got here on that show from 3 to 3:30. And if you're a fan of gospel music, boom, man, were they good. So very exciting.
Do you have to change this?
That's 3. We're looking for 2. There's 2.
Yeah, but I went there.
Nobody was there, right? I guess maybe we can just plug this back into 1 then, maybe.
Okay, plug this back.
No, this one. So. You gotta love technology. You know, it was really good when I was growing up. Technology for us was my dad throwing a sock in my head telling me to get up, change the channel. Right? 'Cause that was all remote control. And I had to look for the pair of pliers because the channel thing had broke. So we had to have pliers. I'm sure people my age always remember the pliers set next to the television because you had to get up and change them.
Yes.
And there we go. Boom. Thank you, Mr. Green. We're good. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is home ownership within reach, right? So for those of you joining us, we're going to talk about how we buy HUD homes. And the things we're going to talk about today, as Comfort stated, some of the HUD home basics. I also think it's important, you know, a lot of people want to know whether it's a great time to buy, right? Why do we want to buy now? And then we're going to talk about how to create wealth for yourself, just like an investor would be, right? Everybody watches This Old House and the 38,000 flip shows on television, and everybody wants to be an investor. Well, what about a concept called flipping yourself? What if you bought the property and fixed it up, and just like a flip investor would be, they sell it to make the money, but you buy it, fix it up, and keep it yourself. Guess who gets to keep the money? You do, right? Which is a great thing. And then we're going to talk about a great program for first responders. That's firemen and teachers and policemen, called the Good Neighbor Next Door program, where you get tremendous value on HUD properties. Then we're going to talk about investor solutions. And then Mr. Copeland, Comfort, and I are going to give you some 10 secret HUD bidding tips that you can know. And we're going to talk about whether you can really do it. And then we're going to talk about buying a home. And then more importantly, because most of the population today is looking to buy a market, and Leon, you know this in your wealth programs, a lot of folks have challenge credit today, right? You didn't learn in high school, and you didn't learn in college, and you learn as you go. And what you learn, unfortunately, probably isn't right? So, and what we want to help people understand is, you know, everybody, and I firmly believe this, and we had talked about it in Comfort, you and I talked about it, is that everybody can buy a home, right? It's two things. It's time and motivation, right? So if you have a credit challenge, that's okay. Time and motivation, you correct it and you become a homeowner, right? If you don't have the cash to close, time and motivation, you get the cash to close and you become a homeowner, right? So those are the things we're going to talk about. So first thing we're going to talk about, why buy home homes. First off, they're foreclosures. Everybody wants to buy foreclosures because they're value, right? So that's the first thing we want to do. What is it? HUD homes equal value. We got to go into that thinking about that HUD homes equal value. Everybody wants to buy a foreclosure. Well, there's a website that we're going to show you that have hundreds of foreclosures that you can buy. And every time you do that, I could tell you with 100% confidence that they're discounted, right? They're going to be cheaper than what you're going to buy on the marketplace. So let's go over some basics. First thing you need to know, HUD homes are a little bit different, right? You have to work with a HUD approved agent, which Comfort is, and you cannot bid on your own. You can look, but you can't bid, right? You got to bid through an agent. But there's also some things that HUD does. So there's a field service manager. That's the HUD contractor who's responsible for the maintenance of the property. Comfort alluded that everything's as is. So what you see is what you get. You need to understand that. The HUD contractor is basically just making sure the property's secure, right? And through the sales process. The next person is the asset manager, and that's what Sage Acquisition is that Comfort alluded to. What they are is they're responsible for the marketing and selling of HUD homes. They work with HUD approved contractors, right, which Comfort is, to get the properties marketed, and the bidding process actually goes through Sage Acquisitions. First thing is, do I need a realtor to place a bid for me? Absolutely. You need to contact your Fairfax Realty agent, i.e. Comfort, right here. Got to contact her. She's registered. You can go online. You can register yourself as a buyer, but you cannot make a bid without bidding through a HUD-approved agent. All right? How can I obtain financing for your home? Well, I will tell you, bidding on a HUD home is a little bit different, right? You have to understand they're as is. You have to understand that it's the contract date's the contract date, and you got to settle, right? So you have to deal with somebody. You can choose anybody, but you got to deal with a company that is well aware of how to work with HUD. If not, you're going to run into some problems with that. So the other thing is, and Comfort alluded to it, you have to get pre-approved. And here's why. When you get your bid and your bid is accepted, you have a few days to supply a pre-approval letter. Guess when's not the time to do that? Scrambling after your bid's accepted, right? Because then you're, oh wait, do I have credit challenges?
Right.
And your earnest money deposit is at risk. So get pre-approved first, then make your bid, and you know what you can bid for. I don't like the home that I choose. Can I decline the acceptance? Absolutely. You can decline at any time. However, if you've got a bid that's accepted and you put up an earnest money deposit, guess what's gone? Your earnest money deposit, right? Once that earnest money deposit goes in, that's why they want certified funds, right? To make sure they're real. That if you don't fulfill the contract, you're going to lose earnest money deposit. So get pre-approved first. and look at the property so you know what you're buying. What is the earnest money deposit held for? Absolutely. It's held because that's your good faith that you're going to go through in the contract. And if you don't, the earnest money deposit is forfeited. Look at the bottom of the screen here. If the buyer retracts the offer, does not fulfill its obligations under the contract, the earnest money deposit is forfeited. What does that mean, Leon? It means you don't get it back, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, some other basics. Can I make repairs to the property if needed prior to purchase? I get this question a lot.
No
Good
way.
question.
You can't. It is a good question, right? Because a lot of people say it's great, I'm going to bid it, and it's a foreclosure, so there's some deferred maintenance, I want to fix it up before I move. The reality is you cannot do that with HUD, right? You can only do it after. If you do it before, you run the risk of losing your contract. Does HUD give any money for repairs to the property? No. Right, this isn't your typical contract where, right, you do an appraisal and it comes back with some repairs, and you go to the seller and say, hey, Mr. Copeland, the appraiser identified these things, can you fix them? HUD says no, right? It's as is. As is means as is. However, we're going to talk about renovation programs that are available for you to buy the property, get the property, the funds you need to fix it up and make the property what you really want it to do, all in one loan. That's a pro tip, right? You should get approved for a regular FHA loan and a 203K loan before you start shopping. Because there are a lot of times you're going to look at a property, it might need just, I want new paint, new carpet, maybe new appliances, right? A little TLC to make it a little shiny.
Right.
I call it, take the bad penny, make it a shiny penny.
Yes.
And, get a pre-approval so you know how much you're working with and get a pre-approved for both loans. All right, when can you bid? Now, this is important. This is why you have to work with Comfort. You got to understand the bidding process, right? In the website, when Comfort shows it to you, there is a bidding calendar. It tells you who can bid and when, right? So there's a lottery period, there's an owner-occupied period, and then there's an all-bidder period. The lottery period is only a bidding period for people that are eligible for the lottery, like the Good Neighbor Next Door program.
Okay.
It's a 7-day period. They can bid on that. Then next is the owner-occupied period, where only owner-occupied individuals, because as Comfort said, HUD wants owner-occupants to bid, right? And the next one is all bidders, which is investors, okay? Period deadline, when we pull up the website, shows you how long you have to bid on the website. It's a clock. It just ticks down, so you can see when the period deadline ends. Lottery listing period is certain property that follow under the Good Neighbor Next Door program. It's usually for first responders, nonprofits, or government entities. They have 7 days.
Okay.
If there's no winning bid, it goes into the owner-occupied period. That's called the exclusive listing period. That goes for 30 days, and then after that, it goes to general, right, or all bidders, which is where investors can be. Now, we have to be careful. Don't lie to HUD. Right? If you are not an owner-occupant and you're an investor and you're trying to bid as an owner-occupant, that's bad. That's bad. We don't want to go there, right?
No.
So
Right,
what we want to do is...
We don't want to go there.
Now, for those of you looking to buy your dream home, you always have priority over investors.
Yes.
So even if it goes to the general bidding process, if you are an owner-occupied and you bid and you're competing with an investor for the same property, you get priority because it's owner-occupied.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the market and why we want to buy now, right? A lot of people think it's a great time to buy real estate. So I'm going to put this up here. If we look what's happening on real estate now, when we looked at general appreciation rates, they run about 0.5% above the rate of inflation. That's historically about 3%, and property values continue to go up. The reality is property value always goes up. Now, it may go ebb and flow within that time period, but one of the things I can tell you is you bought a house in 1970, it was worth more in 1980.
Yes.
You bought a house in 1980, it was worth more in 1990.
Yes.
You bought a house in 1990, it was worth more in 2000. Now, within those time periods, did the property values increase or decrease? Sure, absolutely. But overall, they went up. Now, right here where the drop-off is where the Great Recession started, right? We had this massive correction in the real estate market, but I want to look at what's happening now. Property values are doing what? They're going back up, and guess where they're getting? They're getting right to where they were right before they crashed. It goes to show you that property values ebb and flow. However, at the end of the day, it's just like the stock market, right? Stock market goes down, it goes up.
Yes.
Now,
What goes up must come
right, as
down.
Comfort said, I've been in the business for 32 years. In October of 1987,
Since he was 7 years
since I was 7 years old, right? So in 1987, October of 1987, we had Black Monday, where the stock market crashed below 2,000. Everybody was going, "Oh my goodness, it'll never get above 2,000 again."
I know.
Where's it today? 24,000, 25,000, right?
Exactly.
You're right. It didn't get over 2,000 again. It boom, right by that.
That's right.
But in the same point in time, just like we have over the last couple of days, we've seen what? Corrections, right?
Corrections.
Up and down. I mean, we lost 1,600 points in 2 days, and then we
Yes.
picked up 500, right?
Yes.
So it goes up and down, and property values are about the same way. The other thing we want to talk about now is mortgage rates are historically low. I can tell you right now, mortgage rates are going up. So if you're wanting to buy, now is the time to buy because we are now on the up escalator, right?
Okay.
Interest rates were at historic lows, which we've seen. They dropped down. When I started, interest rates were 18%. And guess what people were doing then? Buying houses, right? Everybody's going to buy houses, right?
Right.
You got to pay to live somewhere. You might as well pay
Of
for yourself,
course.
right?
That's right.
So, but now interest rates have dropped to historic lows. They're coming back up again, but that's okay. We're talking about going from the 3s to the 4s, so the 4s to the 5s, which is still very affordable. And for those of us joining us in our audience, the reality is most of you are renters, right? So interest rate's really not important to you. What's important to you right now is, can I buy a house for less than I'm paying in rent? Right? And we're talking about the tax benefit. You can talk a little bit about that, Leon. The reality is, if you can, guess what you should do?
Do it.
You should do a house, right? You should buy a house, right? Because every time you make a rent payment, who gets rich?
Your landlord.
The landlord, right?
Right.
Every time you make a rent,
Absolutely.
I own rental properties. Guess what? I'm happy every time my
Absolutely.
tenants make a
Of
rental
course.
property because it helps me get more wealthy, right? What I
Yeah.
want to do is help other people now make that decision because every time they make a mortgage payment, who gets rich? They do, right? They're building equity. Here's the other part, and Leon, you can talk about this, is that there's a missed tax opportunity, right? We've all talked about tax reform because it's been part of the news lately, right?
Correct.
But the reality is, for most of us playing in this marketplace, right, or first-time home buyers, the mortgage tax deduction is still applicable for properties and mortgages $750,000 and below, which is what? Most of the people, right?
Correct.
And most people don't understand the true impact of taxes, right? Taxes, not understanding taxes, are the single greatest theft of wealth in the country.
They are.
Right? And here's how I can prove this. If you ask somebody if they pay taxes, right, you know, they give you one of two answers. Nope, I didn't pay taxes, I got money back, right? Or I paid taxes because I paid money.
Right.
They forget that a third of their paycheck was gone every single week
I know.
to pay the
Exactly right.
taxes they didn't
That's
pay.
exactly right.
Well, having a mortgage, right, depending on the tax bracket you're in, right, is a tremendous tax advantage for you and can make
course.
ownership much more affordable
Exactly.
than renting. Okay. 2 ways to make money in real estate: tax savings and appreciation, right? Tax savings is the hidden wealth accumulator
Yes.
in real estate ownership. Second is appreciation. That's the value of your asset improving over time. All right, can I afford to bear it today? This is what I love. I love Washington, D.C. I grew up in Washington, D.C., and we're in the top 5
Oh, yeah.
All right.
most expensive places to live in the country. Woo! Gotta love that, right? So the
Yes,
average rent in
indeed.
DC is $2,190. Right now, that is based on 2016 numbers. I haven't updated for 2017 because the final
Yeah.
census hasn't come out. But the reality is, most of the people listening today can buy a house, have a payment that's less than what they cost to rent, right?
Right.
And so it's great that we're in the top 5. It's not great that we're in the top 5 for this. What we want to do is tell folks, if you're paying $1,500 to $3,000 a month in rent today, you can buy a home and have a payment that's cheaper than renting today.
Absolutely.
All right. How do we do that? Well, let's look at this. If I looked at interest rates today a little bit higher and buying a $300,000 house, I'd have a loan amount of $294,000 using an FHA loan, which most buyers are going to use an FHA loan because it's more flexible with credit, it's more flexible with payment ratios and qualifying. And just a normal FHA loan at 5%, taxes, hazard insurance, and the FHA MIP, which is an insurance you pay to FHA to protect them and you for a payment, your net payment is $1,828. If I looked at just the average rent in the marketplace, that's $2,190. Now I'm a banker, so I'm not really good at math. But if I looked at $2,190 and $1,828, which is cheaper?
1828.
Which is owning,
Owning,
right?
right.
So keep in mind, if you're paying this much rent today, you can buy a $300,000 house today at current
Yes.
market rates and pay less than you're paying in rent today. So now let's look at what it really means to you, right? So look at the chart that we have up here. Now, at the end of 1 year, if you're paying the average rent versus mortgage ownership, right, you would pay $26,000 in rent and only $24,000 in ownership. At the end of 5 years, you would have paid the landlord $131,000, which they're very happy to get, mind you,
Of course.
versus $121,000 in ownership. So not only did you save $10,000 over a 5-year term period, guess what you're also doing? You're building wealth, right? Because look what happens at a 3% appreciation rate, right? I started at $300,000 at a 3%, which is the normal rate of appreciation. At the end of 5 years, my property's worth $347,000.
Wow.
So not only did I save $10,000 in payment, I made $47,000. Now, if I rented and paid $131,000 in rent, who gets to keep that $47,000?
The land.
The landlord,
You.
right? But
Yeah.
I say, show me the money, my money,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Show me the money,
That's
make it
right.
mine, right? So
Right.
that's something we want to do.
Yes.
And so let's look what happens. At the end of 5 years, you would have made $47,000 in appreciation. you would have made $30,000 in a tax benefit, because if it's money in your pocket, right? We talk about it now. It's in the news, right? Everybody talks about how the tax reform is going to put money in your pocket. Well, if it's money in your pocket, it's money in your pocket, right?
Correct.
So the tax benefit would have given you $30,000 in tax benefit. That gives you $78,000 in appreciation and tax savings, and it costs you less to live there than if you did a renting. So why are you waiting, right? Home ownership is within your reach. So also, if you wait, the longer you wait, property values go up, right?
I know.
It's like a train, right? If the train leaves the station and you're standing at the station, right?
More
The
difficult.
train pulls away, you can't get on the train, right?
No.
But if you jump on the train and get on the caboose, you can go from the caboose to the mail car, from the mail car to
Yes.
coach, from coach to first class.
Correct.
But you got to get on the train.
Yes.
Well, same thing with home ownership. The longer you wait, that train pulls away, because the house you want to buy today for $300,000 at a 3% appreciation rate a year, it's worth $309. In 2 years, it's worth $318. So guess what? There's more money to come up with to buy, and a higher payment, right? So
Right.
that's the train moving away from you, right? So we need to be cognizant of that. So now, why do investors buy homes, Leon? What do you think?
They want to have ownership.
Right. Investors buy a home because they want to make money, right? It's the flip show you watch, right? Investor buys a home. I buy the home from Comfort. I fix
Yes.
it up. I buy it for $300. I put $10,000 into it. I sell it for $400,000 for Leon, and I make money, right? That's why
Right.
investors do that. However, investors buy HUD homes. You will compete with investors. But remember, you have a priority, right? You will compete with investors, but
owner-occupier.
right. Investors buy HUD homes to fix them up and flip them to you, right? And keep the profit, right?
Right.
Homes flipped in 2016 sold on an average for $189,000, $62,000 profit built into that. I say, why don't you make that money yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So how do you do that, right? Let's talk about a $62,000 average gross flipping profit. That could be your money. A 48% return on your investment, Leon. Where do you get that?
Hardly.
Hardly anywhere, right?
Anywhere.
Exactly. So, and you get to live there, which is even better, right?
Wow. Wow.
So we have the concept of flip yourself, right?
Love
Did you ever watch Property Flip? Everybody's
Absolutely.
watched something, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
We've seen Flipping Vegas, Flipping. Pretty soon I'm going to see Flipping District Heights, where I grew up, right?
Okay.
That's going to be on HGTV. I know. I know it's coming. Maybe the three of us can star in it, right?
yes.
We'll start
All right.
flipping,
Yes.
flipping District Heights. But did you ever wonder? Did you watch it and say, could I do that myself, right?
Yes.
Investors rehab properties and resell them to you. Fix or flop. How do you do that? Simple cosmetic. A lot of people buy houses and say, well, investors do all this work and they make it beautiful. No. Sometimes they slap paint on it, change appliances, do the carpet, and put a deck on it. It's great.
change the
right?
bathroom.
Exactly.
Right.
It doesn't take huge repairs to make profit, right? If you get in there and say, you know what, this is a house I really, really like. However, it needs paint and carpet. You know what? I have a tool to help you do that and make it the house you really, really want. So turn your HUD home into your dream home and make money. What a nice concept, right?
Absolutely.
I can make it the house I want,
Yes.
and I can make money doing it, right? Because if an investor
Save
does it and I
a
do it, right, we both make the same money doing it, right? Average profit for a flip investor in 2016, $62,000. Do it and keep that $62,000 for yourself. Boom.
That's right.
Right? All right, how do you do that? Well, we have renovation programs, right?
Yes.
One of the more popular ones is what's called the FHA 203K.
Yeah.
Right? That's an FHA loan that allows you to use the money for a down payment and also gives you the money to fix up the loan in a single loan. And it doesn't have to be massive renovations. It can be simple cosmetic or it can be a complete renovation.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Either one we can do. So basically, when you look at this, it's pretty much anything,
Wow.
right? Roof, plumbing, flooring, carpet, repairs, kitchen, bathroom. It doesn't matter if you can think of it, right? As long as the property appraises when it's done, we do an appraisal that says what's the property worth when it's finished, then you can do it on your property. So
Yes.
limited renovation loan, there's two things. We have what they call the FHA 203 Limited. This is a very simple one. A lot of folks buying HUD homes will do these. These are for your simple repairs where we give you up to $35,000. Excuse me. I call this the designer loan, right? I see a house, but I want to make it pretty, right? I want to put new carpet. I want to paint. I want to change some appliances. We give you half the money up front when you settle,
Yes.
and then we give you the other half when you get back, up to $35,000.
Okay.
Now, can I paint and fix carpet and new appliances and fix a bathroom for $30,000? Absolutely, right? Then we also have the standard renovation loan, which can be completely a foundation up renovation.
Wow.
In addition to that, on the standard one, we can finance up to 6 months mortgage payment. So those of you that are in a lease now, and your lease may run up in 4 or 5 months, you can buy a house, do all the work, and when your lease is up, you can do what? Move into your brand new home.
Brand new home. Correct.
Exactly.
let's look at what happens, right? So this is what the investor would normally do. They buy a house for $230,000. They put $35,000 to fix it up, $265,000 total. However, the appraisement that was done is, hey, this house when it's finished is worth $300,000. Guess what you just did? You just made $35,000.
Wow.
Right. In addition, your down payment is going to be based on the lower purchase price, so that's a benefit for you as well.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be based on the purchase price and the improvements, not the 300, but just the 265. So it cost you less money, and you made money doing it, and you got a 210% return on your investment. Who does that?
Wow.
And more importantly, you get to design the house you want.
Look at that.
Right. Look at that. Right. Okay. So what does this mean? Let's use the same example. I bought the house for 265, and it was worth 300.
Okay.
Now instead of just making 9,000, I made 44. At the end of 5 years, I made $82,000, right? Because I bought it at 230.
Yes.
Spent 30 fixing it up, right? So it was my total cost into it was 265,
Right.
but it's still worth the same 347. It was worth 300 when I started. So now instead of making 47, which is a big profit, right?
Of
Everybody
course.
would be happy with that,
Absolutely.
right? Who's going to say I don't want
Everybody
$47,000?
I know.
Right? Nobody, right? Now here, make 82,000. So that's a great strategy for you. Now, for those of you watching that are firemen, first responders, police, or teachers.
Or
Now,
teacher.
teachers are full-time, kindergarten through 12, right?
Yes.
Correct.
There's a Good Neighbor Next Door program. This is awesome. Good Neighbor Next Door program does this. HUD offers a substantial incentive in the form of a 50% discount from the list price phone.
Okay.
So what that means, if I have a $300,000 house and I'm a police officer or a firefighter or EMT, I can buy it for $150,000. So what did I just do? Made $150,000, right?
Yes.
So now keep in mind, Good Neighbor Next Door participants agree to
Yeah,
live in the
for
property,
for
and this
3
is
years.
their only property for 3 years.
Okay.
Okay? And they're required to certify every year that they're living in the property, and that is their sole residence, right? They can't
Yes.
buy this house and then go buy another one,
Okay.
right? So you have to live there, and HUD does check,
Yes.
right?
They do.
Right. Don't,
I believe it.
Right, exactly. Okay, so they know that. So, but it's still a great tool. So HUD protection, they record a second mortgage for the value of the discount. If you sell the property within the 3-year occupancy period, HUD will completely recover the 50% discount. But after year 3, at 366 days, that
Okay.
money is yours.
Wow.
Okay. As I was saying earlier, I'm a realtor. I don't do loans.
Right.
That's why I partner with the best in the field.
Absolutely.
Mr. Brett Carter to, enlighten us on how to get finance. Because if HUD accepts your bid and you do not close,
You'll lose your deposit.
you lose. And I don't want any of my
Right.
clients because money is very tight nowadays.
Sure.
So that's why you come in.
Right.
Those of us that have less than perfect credit, because things do happen. A lot of people just go out there and charge, but some of us that have a life challenge experience,
Correct.
life
And it
changing,
does happen.
Yes.
it does happen. Like after the death of my son, and everything just I couldn't even think straight. So I lose my credit and everything. I'm not now just things like that happen.
Right.
That's where you come in. But for other people, we are not judging you. That just like to charge until you drop. That's also fine. But I partner with MWR so that people who have less than perfect credit and who are willing to buy, who are motivated to buy a home. So I want you to
Yep.
tell the audience,
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So
what they need to do if they have less than perfect credit so that they can get mortgage. So that they can get, because you are a mortgage restoration company. And that's why, I always,
Well, thank you for that segue,
Yes,
Ms.
yes.
Alabumi.
Yes.
Hello again, home buyers. My name is Leon Copeland. I'm actually an account executive here with WBGR, and I'm a consultant with MWR Financial. Today, talk about credit restoration and what MWR Financial can do for you. So at this time, I want to introduce to you my business partner, Gerald Parker, and the president and co-founder of MWR Financial, Mr. Brian House.
all right, we're trying to get.
Leon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for you and Ms. Solabone for giving us an opportunity to talk further about the program. I truly enjoyed the first half of the program. Awesome. Absolutely great stuff, Mr. Carter. Truly exciting. But again, what we're going to be talking about is absolutely a way for people to kind of get their financial house in order using the tools that MWR Financial provides. We've had an opportunity to affect the lives of hundreds of thousands of people across the country. The beautiful part about the speaker that you'll hear from today is a gentleman that actually developed the program. He's instrumental in helping hundreds of thousands of families across this country get it all figured out. That piece that we all struggle with, including credit. But you'll find that this program really can enhance an individual's life in so many ways. We're going to talk in great detail about the membership with the time that we've got available. But let me tell you a little bit about the gentleman that you're going to hear from. He is without question a do-it-first leader. He's the most compassionate, forward-thinking person I've ever met. I've never seen anyone that has such concern for the general public, people getting themselves together, and him being a part of helping them achieve that. He developed this company with that in mind. I was glad to plant my flag with MWR and Brian House in this effort to really impact the financial lives of hundreds of thousands of people nationwide that really need it. He's done some incredible things. He continues to do some incredible things. He is the CEO and actually founder of MWR Financial, and again, the gentleman that developed the program that we're having so much success with. So without further ado, I know we've got some time constraints here. I'm going to bring on to the call President, CEO, MWR Financial, Mr. Brian House. Are you there, sir?
Gerald, I am with you, buddy, and Leon and Brett and Alabama, thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to speak to you guys today. One of the things that I'm going to bring up real quick is that what I'm going to do today is go over our Financial Edge membership, and I'm going to go into each of the services. I'm probably going to abbreviate it a little bit. I do have a 5 o'clock, and I sincerely apologize for that. I thought we were going to be on at 4, so I thought I would have plenty of time, but at the same time, Brad, I really enjoyed the information that you just shared, as Gerald said. And what I'm going to do over the next few minutes is just give you a comprehensive overview of what our membership does for people. I know that I heard you mention, Albany, about the credit side of it. That is a very important piece of what we have to offer. But as you'll see here, if you guys are actually viewing the presentation, we are a complete financial solutions company. Our membership was put into place to be able to help people remedy the 5 major challenges that most people experience when it comes to their finances. And one of the things we're extremely proud of is that our membership has recently been endorsed by America's Money Answers man. You guys probably know who this is, being up north, Mr. Jordan Goodman. He's endorsed our program as the most comprehensive financial services solution ever offered to the general public. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go through each of the services that are included in this membership. I've already told you a little bit about our mission as far as financial empowerment, how we're helping people deal with the specific challenges that they face in regards to their finances, which revolves around debt, taxes, credit, savings and investments, and also income. With that, there are 4 core services that are included in our Financial Edge membership. There's a program called Equity Max, Money Max, Credit Max, and Wealth Max, as well as some additional benefits that I'll kind of touch on. But this is a complete financial benefits package. The first program I'm going to talk to you about is a program called Equity Max. And Equity Max is our debt elimination system. With this program, especially for the people that you're talking about that are wanting to get into a mortgage, this program can help them eliminate all of their debts, their mortgage, car loans, credit cards, personal loans, student loans. Every debt they have can be entered into our Equity Max system. And we're going to give them a plan of action that shows them how to pay off all of those debts in about a third to half of the time or even less without them having to spend one dime more than what they're spending right now. It's a debt roll-down program, Brett. I'm sure you're probably familiar with that being in the banking industry. But it's a structured plan of action. And most people, debt is one of the biggest challenges that, or one of the most difficult challenges for people to overcome. So we kind of simplified this by giving them this plan of action. If you look at the example here. Ken and Sandy are what we refer to as our average American family or average American couple. With this couple on their creditor's plan, they have $209,000 in debt. On our plan, they have $209,000 in debt. On both plans, they're going to have the same monthly payment, $3,185 a month. But with our plan, or with their creditor's plan, they would have been in debt for 29 years. However, by following our plan, they're going to be out of debt in 7 years and 11 months, saving them 21 years and 1 month on the time that they're going to be in debt. But more importantly, it's saving them almost $160,000 in interest by having a structured plan to help them get out of debt. All right, so this can be a big benefit, not just for helping people with debt-to-income ratio in a short period of time. It can also help with those people that do get into a mortgage and they want to know how to accelerate the payoff. You can now separate yourself from anybody else in the industry by not just being the person that helps them get into a home, but also the person that helps them understand how they can pay it off in record time, as well as all their other debts. So that's our equity system. We also have a program called Money Max. Money Max provides our members with unlimited financial advice on demand by top-rated CPAs and certified financial planners. So literally, they never have to make another bad financial decision again. One of the main focuses of our Money Max experts is on tax reduction. And Brett, I heard you talking about this earlier. There's some serious challenges when it comes to taxes with the average consumer. Most consumers think that the best thing they can do is have their exemption set up at their employer to where they're going to give money to the government all year long, and then they're happy to get a portion of that back at the end of the year.
How true is that?
Very true.
Say that again?
I said that's very true, right? I'm as long as I get some of it when I'm at the end of the year, I'm okay. Bad decision. So.
Yeah, bad decision, because they're actually giving that to the federal government to use all year long, interest-free. And at the same time, what are they doing? They're paying late pay or late fees because they're behind, because they don't have enough cash flow. They're paying penalties. They're paying overdraft fees. Things like that. When that additional cash flow, if they brought it into their household, it would allow them to be able to save or invest that money and be able to earn interest on it, or it would keep them from accumulating additional expenses because of lack of cash flow. And so we're real big on making sure people understand the tax advantages of maybe home-based business ownership if they have that. Also understanding that even if you don't have that, you need to adjust your exemptions, and our CPAs, CFPs will walk them through that process to increase their cash flow and bring that money back home on their very next paycheck, which the average is typically about $300 to $500 or more per month in tax savings, which also eliminates the cost of our membership. And for people wanting to buy a home, obviously it can help them maybe qualify for more of a house, okay? And so I think that's a big benefit. Now, in addition to all those services, we also have a program called Credit Max. And this is a company that I've personally owned for 26 years. Our focus at Credit Max is to help people get their credit scores back into the best shape possible. The average member in this program experiences a credit score increase of anywhere between 50 to 150 points, depending on where they start at, in typically about a 2 to 8 month period of time or even less. Now, that type of an increase in a consumer's credit score can literally save them hundreds and even thousands of dollars on their interest rates, their down payments, their car insurance, their homeowners insurance premiums, everything that's affected by a credit score, which is just about everything they do these days. Now, one of the things I'm extremely proud of when it comes to our Credit Max program is that, one, our company, when the Credit Repair Organizations Act came out, which is the actual federal law that governs our industry, my company is the only company that I know of in history that has ever had a federal judge sign off as to compliance with the Credit Repair Organizations Act, which is a very big deal because our system is not set up to help people beat the system. It's set up to help them exercise their rights under the laws that have been put into place to protect them as a consumer and help them get their credit scores back into the best shape possible. And one of the other unique things about our program is that when a consumer enrolls with Credit Max as part of their Financial Edge membership, we actually do all the work for the consumer. They'll complete a simple enrollment. They'll be able to order their credit reports right online via our system, either a free credit reports from annualcreditreport.com, or they can use our MWR Smart Credit system to be able to track their progress while we're doing this. But at the same time, they'll upload it into our system, and once they do that, our experts take over. We'll analyze their credit reports. We'll submit all disputes to the credit reporting agencies. And their only responsibility throughout this process is just to make sure any information they get back from the bureaus, they get it to us so we know what our next step needs to be for that client. Okay, so that's our Credit Max program. Now, in addition to Credit Max, we also provide financial education and mentorship through Wealth Max, which is headed up by Jordan Goodman. We've actually brought Jordan on because of his endorsement and his belief in what we're doing to help people do better financially. Our members have access to our Wealth Max program, which is designed around helping them understand how to get their money working for them. We're in one of the biggest retirement crises in American history right now, and it's because people are not saving or investing, and a lot of that has to do with they do not have expendable or savable income in order to be able to do that. Well, our program helps them create the cash flow they need out of their existing finances so they can start saving or investing for retirement. And Mr. Goodman is going to help educate them on the secrets that wealthy people use in order to be able to get their money, making money for them. He's going to give them an understanding about how money works so they're more financially literate, and overall he's going to help them do better financially. So that's our Wealth Max program. Now, part of our Wealth Max program is what we refer to as our private reserve account. We are partnered up with a company called CalChoice. A good friend of mine, Andre Beccario, owns this company, and this is our wealth generation strategy. With this program, and I'm going to play this short video for you because I think it's important for you to see it. This is a game changer in our industry because we didn't want to just educate people on the best ways to save, grow, and protect their money tax-free with no risk of loss. We actually wanted to provide them with a solution that would help them accomplish that goal. So what I'm going to do right now, and I hope you guys can hear this okay, I'm actually going to, matter of fact, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to switch it over to the computer real quick, so bear with me. I'm going to try to, or matter of fact, I'll just leave it where it is. I'm going to play it on my phone. Hopefully, guys, you will be able to hear this. It works better if I actually put it on my phone, but I want you to pay close attention to this video because part of our philosophy is on self-banking. It's helping people understand how they can take advantage of being able to use a private reserve account to have the same benefits of the bank as well as multiple other benefits. And so, Brett, I think you'll appreciate this as well. So, hang tight, guys. I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
Okay. That was a very good information. That was a very good information. Like I said earlier, we partner with, good people for good information. They have to start with credit.
Correct.
Because you cannot buy anything without at least 600.
Well, I mean, we'll go as low as 580, but you like to see people above 620, right? So 620 is about where you want to be, right?
Okay.
So there's
so
a lot.
The first step is to start with MWR and see what you are able to qualify for. Then you come to the lender. I cannot do loans.
Right.
So, but I'm the last stop, and if I can just get Mr. Green to help us switch so that we can show them how to go online.
While she's doing that, one of the things in Liam, it's funny, people don't understand, right? When wealth accumulation is not just asset accumulation, right?
Right.
Managing of one debt, when you're looking at a financial statement, it's two things, right? There's asset accumulation and there's also debt management.
That's correct.
Anybody hear Mike Tyson?
Yes.
All right, Mike Tyson made more than enough money to live forever, or you know, a Trill Speedwell, a bunch of athletes, right? How many times you hear Powerball winner, they won $5 million in 10 years, they're bankrupt, right? Well, I'm sure they had the assets, right? What they didn't have was debt management, right? So, right, so in wealth accumulation and building up wealth, the management of debt is just as important as asset accumulation, right?
Absolutely.
I think in some cases, for those of us starting out, that's probably more important, right? Because
Absolutely.
how do you create investable dollars? Well, you know, is your debt tax favored or non-tax favored, right? Credit card debt's 22%, you don't get any tax break.
Right.
Maybe repositioning how that debt is structured, right?
Correct.
And then those, and I like what Brian had said, where, because I've worked in the financial world for 30 years, one of the things I like, if I can show you how to invest in your future without changing one penny of what you currently earn and spend, which is one of the examples they gave us,
Absolutely.
and you can invest that in your future, would you do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Because most of the time they put together plans, well, I don't have the money. Well, I'm going to show you how to get the money. And it's
That's
not
right.
even what you're changing now.
That's
So
right.
that's why I think the NWR thing is very, very powerful, because it show people how to build their financial future out of the money they currently earn and spend.
Absolutely.
That's
Yes, sir.
huge. So, all right, so we're waiting for this to get back up. Mr. Green's got the magic touch. So,
I hope he does.
and while we're figuring that out, I think what Comfort's going to show you how to do time. The clock is ticking, tick, 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 tick. Right. So we're just going to go real quick, and, and Comfort can show you how to look at it. But
Look,
that's all right.
okay.
Perfect. There we go. We're there on the HUD
All
home
right.
site, right?
Look at that.
HUDhomestore.com is the website, folks. HUDhomestore.com.
how do we?
Want to click on the full screen button up there.
Okay, so the first thing is to go on hardhomestore.com and you click on public.
That's you. That's the public.
That's you,
Right.
public. So you put in all your information, you register, and all this information, because you need all this information to be able, once you log in, you go to home, and you decide where you want to live. We are in the state of Maryland, and then if you want to live in PG County,
We put Prince.
There you go.
okay, Prince George. You, after you register, and
It's like that. There you go.
all the homes in PG County is right here. There's one for two exclusive. What I was referring to initially is that buyer's type. It tells you, you know, HUD, as I mentioned earlier, is trying to promote owner occupants. So priority is given to owner occupant, then the investors, then the good neighbor next door, then government agency, non-profit organizations like churches and mosques,
Right.
and then dollar home for,
You know, like PG County, Montgomery County.
It's governments and municipalities, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Yes, but let's click on one of these property here. This one here in Upper Marlboro. Eligible bidders, owner occupants, and government agencies only. And you see the date, the deadline for submission right here
Yes.
is 2/11/2018. We have 4 days and 8 hours.
That is the most important reason. You must start with MWR. Make sure you are qualified, because when the deadline, you won't have time. Sometimes it takes like about a month to restore your credit and to get approval, right? How
But,
long does it take?
well, it depends on the credit, right? I think part of the products and the reason that we've all come together is to give you the tools with
Yes.
NWR Financial and how do you, fix your debt and get your credit where it needs to be, and then you work with me to get pre-approved, and then we
Yes.
turn you over to Comfort. The two things we talked about in our presentation is that bidding clock tells you when it's going to,
Yes.
when the bidding, now exclusive bidding means owner occupied, nonprofit. 11, it always ends at midnight.
Yes.
Then it's going to go to all bidders. All
All
bidders,
bidders.
that's when you're competing. Keep in mind, as an owner occupant, you have a priority, so you'll always do that. A lot of times I tell people that are looking for houses, move to the ones where it's all, because you're going to have a competitive advantage against investors. Also, you're looking for areas where you have the most value, right?
point.
The longer the property's been on the HUD site, the more value you're going to have because they're more willing to work with you, right? If it's a recent listing, they're going to be less flexible.
Yes.
If it is a listing, right, you submit a bid, and then HUD tells you whether you won the bid or not, right? And if nobody wins the bid, it goes in from the exclusive period, the bid deadline expires, no bid's been accepted, you're just going to see the clock start ticking again. So
Exactly.
this isn't where you call Comfort and Comfort negotiates on HUD's behalf with you.
No.
Doesn't work, right?
I don't even know how many people submit offer
Right.
for my own listening.
Correct.
So you have to come to me once you log in and you register as a public and you start to browse and you find the property that you like with your approval letter in one hand from Brett and your earnest money deposit on the other. That's when you come to me to help you submit the order, the offer.
Right.
Because HUD will not accept your bid directly without going through an agent to show you that you are comfortable, you know what you are putting your money in, and then you are familiar with the area. Because once I submit that offer with your earnest money and they accept and you do not close, they're not going to give me the earnest money back. So that's why I have to show you. You have to go online, see where you want to live. I don't know, you know, if you like the property, then I have to take you in. We look at it, and you are comfortable. You want this property. That's when we submit the offer. I'll submit the offer on your behalf. So I partner with restoration for challenge it. And once you get your credit situation straightened out, you come to Mr. Carter and then you get approval letter because Mr. Carter is
Right. So we got 2 minutes. A couple things I want to feature on real quick. Leon, let's talk about everybody can buy, right?
everybody
So,
can buy.
We have a tool, right? If you have challenge credit, if you're sitting out there and say, I can never buy a home because my credit is a little
That's
challenged, fine. We have a resource here to help you get on that path. And what you have to understand, it doesn't matter when. You can become a homeowner, right? We have the tools to get you from point A to point B so you can own a home. Once you do that, then we can then work with you on the lending side to get you on that path to build generational wealth. Wealth, that's through real estate.
Yes.
Once you do that, then Comfort can help you find the right house in the right place. So what you need to do is go to HUD's home store, do a look around, see what you like, and then reach out to Comfort, and Comfort can put you in touch with Leon or myself, and we get you on that path to home ownership. So we appreciate everybody joining us today, right?
We thank you
Yes.
for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone.
We hope we provided you all the information and the tools that you need. And if you have any question, can you give them your phone number and all the information how to reach you, Mr. Carter?
Sure, you can reach me, Brett Carter at fdmhome.com. It's Brett at fdmhome.com. My phone number is 443-370-2908. And we're running time quickly.
And you can reach out to me, Leon Copeland, at 443-820-6285, or my email address, lccopeland, the number 73, at gmail.com.
Thank you so very much. It was very nice to have you.
Thank you, and we'll
Have a
see you
nice
guys
day.
next week.
See you next week, same time.
Game winning